But we begin tonight with devastating claims against a prominent veterinary clinic in Carlsbad. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jim Avila, in for Kimberly and Wale. In a lawsuit, a North County dog owner claims the clinic misrepresents the qualifications of its lead surgeon and requires underlings to push unnecessary surgeries for profit. The dog, named Rockie, has a bad leg. His owner says his surgery left him worse, not better. I confronted the hospital owner and got his side of the story, fact-checking him in real time during a one-hour interview. Meet Rockie, a 4-year-old retriever mastiff mix. His eyes tell you he's had a hard life, one filled with pain since year one. According to a lawsuit filed by his dog mom, Stephanie Spears, an injury he suffered when he jumped from Spears' SUV to an uneven driveway.
So he yelped, and then he started to limp as he started walking away.
Okay. And why did you decide you needed to take him to a doctor?
Because he was limping. He was my baby.
He still limps today, despite 3 surgeries and rehab that has run up a vet bill of $50,000.
It's expensive. It's a lot.
The first surgery cost $5,000 and was performed here at Mohnacky Veterinary Hospital in Carlsbad by Dr. Zoran Georgievich, or Dr. George as he likes to be called. Stephanie never actually saw him, but she did see at the office entrance, prominently displayed, a wall of fame for Dr. George. His staff, she says, handled the patients and talked him up as an expert. And this is important. According to the lawsuit, he was a board-certified orthopedic surgeon who specializes in hip dysplasia, assuring Stephanie her Rockie would be handled by the best.
Dr. George is board certified. He, invented this surgery.
You're sure that he heard those words?
Absolutely.
Okay. And what have you come to find out?
He's not board certified.
That's issue number 1, says Stephanie's attorney. The lawsuit reads, Rockie was treated in a manner that left him severely injured and in pain and discomfort for the rest of his life.
The animal was injured by a veterinarian who claimed to be a board-certified orthopedic surgeon. He was not. And unfortunately, the wrong surgery was utilized.
Issue number 2, Rockie was diagnosed with hip dysplasia, and surgery to repair it was immediately recommended, says Stephanie. Her lawsuit claims her dog, at 10.5 months old, was too old for dysplasia surgery. An actual board-certified orthopedic surgeon who offered his second opinion was shocked, she says.
He said that surgery should never be done on a dog older than 6 months. It's not going to do anything for him.
Post-surgery, Rockie is not healing. The second opinion by an actual board-certified surgeon expected to testify in a trial revealed that Rockie would now have to undergo multiple surgeries and would require years of therapy and be on medication for the remainder of his natural life.
And he still has this limp. And we had to force him to get up on both legs to go use the restroom and to go pee.
Stephanie says Dr. George recommended more surgery, but according to the lawsuit, the actual board-certified surgeon had a different diagnosis, completely unrelated to Rockie's hip. The x-rays showed the real problem was in his knee, and Rockie should have undergone bilateral knee surgery.
So he has 2 torn ACLs. Rockie had an 80% tear on one and a 70% tear on the other.
So he had 2 knee injuries, nothing to do with the hips.
Nothing to do with the hips. As a matter of fact, the board-certified surgeon said, I would not have even touched the hips.
Team 10 spoke to 3 former employees at Mohnacky Hospital, one on camera, one who didn't want her face shown, both on the witness list, and one who wrote a sworn declaration about what she saw while working there. Quote, the business model is production-based, so decisions often seem to be money-driven, as opposed to what's best for the pet. All 3 employees echo what's in the lawsuit, which claims Mohnacky Veterinary Hospital acted in a manner that was an extreme departure from the ordinary standard of care and conduct.
Whatever financially is going to benefit Dr. George the most is what's done. So if the pet doesn't necessarily need a surgery, he's still going to push that surgery.
This former employee now works for another vet, but nearly left the business altogether because of what she saw at Mohnacky. What were they instructed to tell the dog owner about his qualifications?
That he was either specialized or had a special interest in orthopedics, which made him qualified in his eyes.
Did they say that he was certified?
Occasionally.
And he wasn't certified?
No, they were pressured into going forward with surgeries.
Molly worked in the Mohnacky Vet Hospital as well.
He was just surgery happy. We would have our monthly meetings, and it was about pushing, patella surgeries, pushing hip surgeries.
My doctors undergo the highest of standards and my expectation.
The owner of the hospital, Craig Mohnacky, responded to Stephanie's claims. He says his core values are under attack, and Stephanie Spears is attempting to extort money from him, a claim Stephanie denies.
She's really made herself in a situation where the comments, the slander, the falsities, the misrepresentations have put her in a victim cycle, if you will. She'd been victimized.
Mohnacky sat with us for an hour, and I put to him the two main issues in Stephanie and Rockie's lawsuit. First, he denied he instructed the employees to misrepresent Dr. George's credentials.
There's no truth in any of the accusations that are made.
Well, you're the boss. You didn't direct your staff to represent Dr. George as board certified.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Matter of fact, we go out of our way to make sure that the representation is clear that we are not board certified as a orthopedic surgeon. Matter of fact, our anesthetic release forms historically have had a disclaimer in it saying our doctors are not board certified, which is signed by any patient that comes in to undergo a procedure.
But this incident happened in 2019.
Yes.
In 2019, did your paperwork say that?
In 2019, the paperwork did not say that.
So at the time that this plaintiff, Stephanie, brought Rockie in and received those papers that you saw, it didn't say that you didn't have any board certified.
No, not at that time. That's right. That's right.
But I'm told by board certified veterinarians that to get that certification is a rigorous study and a rigorous exam. And
Absolutely.
if you don't have that, then you shouldn't be performing those type of operations. But you feel comfortable in having Dr. George do these type of operations, orthopedic, delicate operations, even though he's not certified to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
However, as they say, words matter. Dr. George, who was in the room during the Mohnacky interview but was not allowed to speak on camera, repeatedly referred to himself as certified and a specialist, leaving out the keyword board with me when his boss was out of the room. But here's the problem. According to actual board-certified surgeons we spoke to and the American College of Veterinary Surgeons, it's wrong to call yourself a specialist without certified schooling, which is a rigorous 8-year program. Next issue, the board-certified surgeon Rockie went to for a second opinion told Stephanie her dog was too old for the type of hip surgery Dr. George performed. The specific charge is that Rockie was not of the correct age to have this surgery done, that he was 10 months old, and that is the outer boundary of when this would be appropriate. What is your reaction to that?
My reaction to that is that I can guide you to the literature, or you can go on the internet and read it, but this procedure is done in animals between 5 months, a year of age. 10 months is certainly more than an acceptable time to do a procedure like that.
I mean, you said that we could look it up, and of course I have. I did some research.
Sure.
And according to the American College of Veterinary Surgeons, DPO, TPO surgery is an option for dogs less than 8 to 10 months old. Rockie was 10 and a half months old. Dr. Mohnacky says that's fine and close enough, and reiterated that the surgery was perfect, regardless of the second opinion. Stephanie says the dispute will be handled in court. Both sides have been through depositions and settlement conferences.
Rockie, want a treat? What's in? What's this?
Stephanie is hopeful she will win enough money to continue Rockie's care and one day look into his eyes and not see pain.
I felt like a failure. that I allowed a dog to suffer.
The road ahead is tough for Stephanie and her dog, a difficult lawsuit because of a unique law that protects veterinarians from being sued for large amounts. We're going to have more on that in part 2 of my story tomorrow at 6. Our thanks to Team 10 photojournalist Amal Brown for editing and shooting these pieces.